You scroll past a video like this, and your brain immediately reacts. It is an involuntary spike of empathy. We process these emotional moments in a fraction of a second. It happens so smoothly that we rarely notice the massive, highly engineered infrastructure required to process the transaction. That infrastructure relies on what media theorists call a trope. It is an invisible communication technology, a recognizable shortcut that describes a complex human situation without needing a long explanation. But creating that shortcut requires a strict mechanical blueprint. To guarantee you feel something for a cinematic rescue, the prompt mandates a 35mm lens, an f1.8 aperture, and a camera height locked 1 meter above the ground to meet those watery blue eyes. These specific technical constraints force an artificial perspective. By physically lowering the lens to the subject's eye level, the image exploits our innate biological response to vulnerability. From there, the narrative has to follow a precise timeline. The character must move from a state of fear and isolation into a moment of hope, and finally, to compassionate bonding. This sequence ensures your continued investment in the outcome. What feels like a spontaneous, organic reaction to a sad story is actually a highly structured exchange. You are reacting exactly as the blueprint intended. The entertainment industry scales this exact mechanism to build narrative stakes rapidly, bypassing the need to explain every detail of a fictional world to the audience. Take the archetypal adventure film centered around the search for a lost city of gold. The genre relies on a sequence of specific narrative shortcuts to keep the pace fast. First, the story deploys skepticism towards authority. By framing the official experts or local governments as corrupt or incompetent, the script immediately aligns you with the rogue protagonist. Then it introduces hidden motives. Instead of explaining the intricate history of a region, the script simply hints at a secret agenda. It bypasses complex political world-building and jumps straight into immediate character conflict. This is an incredibly efficient psychological exchange. The audience willingly trades logical nuance for the comfort of easily recognizable patterns. These entertainment tropes function as an optimized transaction. They replace the friction of complex reality with instant, predictable loyalty from the viewer. But these engineered blueprints do not stay confined to movie scripts. They are actively deployed in the physical world, shaping how we debate public health and government policy. When these narrative shortcuts leave the theater, they saturate our digital news feeds, operating on the exact same psychological mechanics to drive real-world engagement. Researchers analyzing short texts in online discussions have identified 9 specific tropes that form the linguistic infrastructure of modern debate. These categories, ranging from defend the weak to too fast, appear consistently across completely different topics. In polarizing debates over immigration, communicators frequently rely on the defend the weak trope. By emphasizing a policy's negative impact on vulnerable populations, the argument automatically commands moral authority. Similarly, the too fast trope allows users to bypass complex clinical data entirely. By framing medical developments as rushed or experimental, the narrative overrides statistical safety with an immediate sense of danger. And when systemic issues are too abstract to generate engagement, the scapegoat trope artificially shifts the blame onto hyper-visible individuals, providing a simple, recognizable target for public frustration. This Pearson correlation heat map reveals statistical relationships between the 9 identified tropes. By isolating the row for hidden motives, we see almost no significant correlation with other categories. This proves these modular narrative weapons can be attached to any argument to manufacture suspicion. Just like the strict camera angles required to make you feel sorry for a CGI puppy, the most heated public discourse runs on these exact same engineered shortcuts to guarantee an emotional return. The most critical finding from the academic research is that these tropes are orthogonal to the truth. They operate entirely independent of whether a statement is an established fact or a baseless conspiracy theory. This means the delivery mechanism itself is neutral. A factual public health warning and a piece of deliberate disinformation can both be packaged in the exact same high-intensity trope to maximize their spread. Because they function as neutral communication tools rather than explicit propaganda, tropes serve as highly effective, invisible amplifiers for polarization. They work silently to strip away context, reducing complex geopolitical issues into simple, emotional binaries that force you to pick a side. In many ways, this narrative framework functions just like the physical infrastructure powering the modern internet. It is massive, underwater, and ubiquitous, quietly directing the flow of information without drawing attention to itself. The most effective manipulations are the ones you never notice, simply because they operate using the familiar code of your own emotional reactions. Recognizing how these tropes function is the only practical way to protect your attention from the invisible systems constantly trying to shape your reality.